Hi everyone, welcome back to SmugMug Live. This is episode 46 of SmugMug Live, the last one of the week. It is almost the weekend. This is going to be a tips and tricks episode, so this one is all about SmugMug today. As always, this show, of course, is brought to you by SmugMug and Flickr. If you're looking for somewhere to showcase and share your images, if you're looking for somewhere to store your images online, or indeed if you're looking for an e-commerce solution to sell images to your customers and clients, then check out everything we have to offer at smugmug.com. If you're looking to connect with photographers, be part of the largest photo community in the world, share, be inspired and be motivated by great photography, then check out everything we have to offer at flickr.com. Thank you for joining. Wherever you are in the world, we really appreciate it. If at any point today you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. That way you will be notified of all the episodes we have coming and released here on SmugMug Live. Next week, we have lined up an amazing guest next week with John Rourke, who is the official motorsport photographer for the FIA and the World Endurance Championship. I know a lot of you have been asking for us to host a motorsport photographer here on the show, so we're going to do that for you next week on Thursday, the 8th of October. It's hard to believe we're in October already. Today's episode, though, is Tips and Tricks with SmugMug, and today specifically we are going to talk about the new changes that we made to our navigation menu when you're inside your SmugMug account. And joining me today to do that is my wonderful colleague, Cosmo Rahn. Hi, Cosmo. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on, Alastair. It's a real pleasure to join you today.
Are you kidding? The pleasure is mine. It's great to see you.
Yeah.
You're a little bit closer to headquarters than I am today. Is that right? Where do we find you?
A little bit. Yeah, I am working out of our office here at home in Fremont, California, and the office, our headquarters, is in Mountain View, so yep. It's just across a bridge.
Yeah, you're a little bit closer to the Bay Area than I am, so it's good to see you online. Thank you for joining me today. I was trying to think of who would be the best person to come in and talk to me about the Nav Bar. Now, obviously, I know about the Nav Bar, but hopefully our audience is joining today to get a little insight into why we've made some of the changes that we've made, what it might lead to in the future, and if they've got any questions, hopefully they're going to feed it. So if you're watching this show today and you want to ask a question of myself or Cosmo, hit that question into the chat window. I will be happy to answer your questions, but hopefully we're going to cover most of the changes to the Nav Bar. It's not going to take too long, this isn't going to be a 2-hour episode because it's not a huge change, but we have made that little change. But wanted to get Cosmo on here, but Cosmo, what is it you do for us at SmugMug? What's your position at the company?
Yeah, great question. I am the director of design, so I lead the SmugMug's design team, as well as research for both SmugMug and Flickr. And then I'm also leading product for our mobile apps. So a nice breadth of things to do, but for the most part, what it comes down to is I am really focused on listening to and understanding the customers and the photography community and helping the entire company and our software teams build software that serves your needs.
Yeah, you're that kind of liaison middle person between understanding what our customers want and sharing that vision and that experience with our engineers and designers, and then obviously having a real lead over the kind of final design options about how those conversations are then implemented into our product. So you are the perfect person to have here today. And
excited to be here.
Yeah, share the Nav Bar. So why don't we get straight into it, and we can maybe share your screen and have a look at some of talk through what's slightly different, where you can find things, and see where we go. It's going to be pretty informal. We'll just talk through it. I've got some questions that I've heard that I'll maybe share with you to lead the conversation. But of course, if anybody has any questions at any point, put them in that chat window and we'll get to them. So so we can see your screen now.
Great.
Yep.
All right. So, some fun photos. This is my own personal account, so figured I'd use that to show I actually actively use our own product for my own needs as well. So, it's a super powerful tool, and a lot of the sort of thinking around where what kinds of things we've been doing is around making that power more obvious to everybody. So I wanted to show a couple of the big changes that we made recently, and kind of give a little bit of hints as to where we might be heading based on that. So
Yep.
I thought it'd be fun. As you can see now, the top of this is what we call the global nav bar, so the nav bar, and the major changes here is that we've now split the various parts of the product into separate sections, we call it. So the photo section, organize section, photo site section, and your selling tool section. The view that you see now is also brand new. So let's talk a little bit about the nav first, and then we'll come back to the screen and I'll show some fun new things. And we actually just launched yet another new thing that was a top user request. I'm really excited to show that because it was something I really want to do. So that's always nice.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm just going to zoom this screen a little bit so that we can see it when I'm talking to you as well.
Absolutely.
I'm already going to mention the fact that can I move that? Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, let's move that over there a little bit. So I'm going to interrupt and be the voice of the customer here, because
come on in.
Already I'm seeing a change from what people may have experienced only a few weeks ago when they joined this site. Right, this top global nav bar has already changed. We've got new words up there. We've got photos and we've got photo site. Organize, I'm familiar with that. Selling tools, I kind of know what we're talking about there, but already we have photos and photo sites, so maybe you can start off with those things.
Yeah, let's go there. So the organizer everybody's familiar with, as you mentioned, photo site, what we really wanted to do is make the site experience of our product a little bit easier to use and sort of easier to get to. And what was happening before is there was a lot of drop downs in this top nav, and in order to get to a lot of the features, you had to know what page or what specific section to be on in order to make the right drop down appear for your needs. And a lot of the work that we're doing is just trying to simplify the products. There's a lot of simplification going on today. And that came from our research with our customer base, and you all said, hey, it's too hard to figure out how to use this thing, so make it easier. So that's really the focus. So as you can see in photo site now, you get the full image of your own photo site. This is my attempt at making my own site here, and mostly just my own wedding photos. And so now on the photo site, you can see underneath of there's what we call the section bar or an action bar, right? So now instead of having to know what drop down to find customize in or change your templates or your site themes, they're right here front and center. This gives us the power to now add sort of more functionality for you as well in a nice, easy to find place. So it really opens up the product capabilities. So now I can go into
a lot more visible already, rather than being hidden behind a drop down somewhere. And
absolutely,
I can already see I have options here before I even get in there.
Exactly. Yeah. And we really, one of the things that I started at the company 2 years ago almost now. It's been almost 2 years. And one of the things that was really top of mind for me was how powerful SmugMug is as a platform. But I found myself struggling with finding all of that power, and talking with our customers, realized so did other folks. And so we really wanted to make the power more obvious to everybody.
Yeah.
And
it's so true. I mean, being very fortunate to travel the world and be at our trade shows and stuff around the world. When I'm demoing the product, I constantly get people saying, "Man, I didn't even know that feature was there." And now the fact that we have this, kind of sub nav bar that's highlighting opportunities to do things to the product, it's much clearer.
Absolutely, and actually that sentiment is exactly what we heard in so much of our research and talking in interviews with our customers. Is is, oh, I wish it did this, and we'd be like scratching our head going, it does, it really, it does do that, So, and that's on us, so that we're taking actions to make it easier for everybody to use and find that power. So, this is going to look familiar to everybody. This is your customizer, exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
And
so there's no changes in the customization section once you get in there. It's just much easier to find the customization button to get in and design customize your site. One thing that was, one of those things that people struggled with were things like finding how to choose a new template, find where to choose templates, because once you were in that customization window, it wasn't there. Or if you went to find somewhere else, you couldn't find it. So now we have abilities to change the theme and change this template or customize right there as a choice.
Exactly. And like I mentioned, it used to be in this drop down under, I don't even remember what it was. I think it was Customizer and Organizer both had their own drop downs.
Yep.
And as we started to use this internally, all of us forgot how it used to work. So it was because it was just so much easier to use. And like I said, it gives us a nice open space here to do some more stuff, to add more functionality, or to find other opportunities to draw some of the power up to the top level for people to be able to find and use a little bit more readily. Yeah. So this is the new photo site section, and we're going to continue to make this and make enhancements to this and drive the power of this tool for everybody. I wish I could tell everybody everything that we're doing, but clearly can't do that. There's some really neat stuff coming down the pipes.
We're always in a difficult position, and I always find myself in a difficult position as the host of this show. Like, I want to ask things or share things for my viewers, but obviously we can't. But what I do know, and something I wanted you to talk about the team, the kind of focus of the team, is by having photo site, your site design called out as a single part of the organizer. I'm assuming this is a great way to create that foundation to really build off of and create some really cool features within the specific part of your site, correct?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we really are trying to wrap our heads around and help make some changes to the product itself around, is this notion of the photos taking front and center, right? Mm-hmm. Your photos are the reason that you're grabbing a camera and going out there, right? It's for that photo, and you want to be able to display it or look at it or find it or search for it. Do stuff with it and add it to your site, add it to a gallery, share it with clients, share it with friends and family, or just view it yourself. And what we're doing in this global nav, it might seem like a small change, but it opens up the door for us to be able to provide so much more of those kinds of elements to it, and then start to really build out the photo site builder product quite dramatically. I think last summer we added a couple new page templates to make it easier for folks to add like about pages and stuff like that. And then now we're starting to be able to add more of those kinds of things to really make the product more robust.
Proper home where these kind of features can live very easily within your the organizer. It's just such a powerful way to call it out and call a specific place. I've heard from customers, I've heard from other people, I've seen comments that, did we just make this change for the sake of making this change, and it's just a cosmetic change? The reason I wanted to do this episode and have you on was to be able to have this conversation with our audience and let you know that this isn't just a change for the sake of it. We have great plans for this. Cosmo's team and the rest of the team have, the whole company is focused on this new foundation and what we can do for it. So it's not just a change for change's sake. We didn't just move the cheese, as they say.
Absolutely. Yeah. I obviously can't say everything that's on it, but I will say our head of product, my partner Burke, mm-hmm. and I have we both have crafted a multi-year strategy for where we're taking this. And so as we continue to build out and add that functionality and simplify things, make it easier, look for opportunities to add cool new features and to take features that people love now and make them even better and more powerful. This is maybe a small seeming change. And I chatted with a couple photographers the other day that hadn't even noticed it happened.
Right.
It just seems so natural and easy. But what we're really doing here is setting ourselves up for that future. So it seems small, but from our side, this is one of the biggest foundational changes to the product that we needed to make in order to unlock everything else.
Yeah, I guess that was the kind of conversations I've been having, is people saying, this is almost, why even bother doing this? Like, it's such a small change. You've just moved my menu about. It's not where it used to be. So why even bother this? Why aren't you working on more important things? Well, this is the stepping stone. This is the foundation that allows us to work on some of those cool things that we will eventually be able to talk about, but the cool things that our customers have been asking for. So it isn't just a simple change for the sake of it. And hopefully down the line, we'll have you back on when we release some of the other things when we can talk about them.
I'd love that. It'd be really fun, especially some of the next big things that we're thinking about. So it'd be any of those.
Indeed, we're just being teasies now. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, we're just being, that's just mean. I wanted to, you mentioned the how this is a foundational element. I think that's a good opportunity to call out this new photos section on the product. This is an example of sort of where we're heading and what we're trying to accomplish here in making your photos and your ability to view them and find them and organize them easier and more powerful for you. And again, there's lots of baby steps here. There's lots of, trying to start rearranging things and making it easier for us to then build on top of. But one of the things that we did was we launched this new photo section. So you can see here, you now can view all of your photos in one spot without having to remember what gallery you have to go into and dig through all of those things. And then, was this a private gallery, or was this something that's actually on your website? Is it unlisted, et cetera? So this is for you, the photographer, the owner of the SmugMug account, to be able to come in and really get access to all their photos in a faster, more beautiful way. Yeah. And we originally launched a new search here and some new filtering functionality, so you can search by date. You can reverse the capture date or upload date. You can go earliest or latest. So if you've got a lot of photos, like I've got a lot of wedding photos in here, so if I wanted to find them all, it'd be tricky if I went recent first. And you can do some other light filtering. Again, these are all our the first launch, the first things that we're putting out there, and then we're going to continue to learn and hear from our customers what's most important to you in organizing and managing and finding and searching for your photos, and then sharing those with your audience, whatever that audience might be, clients or friends and family, the public, whoever else.
This is where we start really honing in on the fact that we're all about the photographs, and SmugMug becomes the central hub of your photographic life. You have all your images stored on SmugMug, and they're used throughout the site. They're used for sharing with clients. They're used for selling. They appear on pages. They appear in your design. So they're kind of all throughout your photo site. But this is that central view where we start to be able to create this hub, this central point where we then have a platform to utilize that hub in some of the things we hope to do in the future, right?
Absolutely. And this photo section is a great example of that. And a lot of the research that we did to inform the current strategy, we discovered people were really struggling with understanding how galleries and folders and all that stuff worked. And part of that, we believe here, is because the organizer was both a place to organize your website and also your photos. Super powerful at doing both of those. But it made it tough for people who maybe didn't want to have a site, but really want to have a beautiful place to host and store their photos and share them with maybe clients or friends and family, and to understand how to use it. And then it made it so that it was harder for us to build cooler stuff for the photo site builder, because it was tied to both organizing your photos as well. Yeah. So that's why we've sort of gone this direction, is the ability to separate those two things and make them both cooler, basically.
Yeah, but the more potentially powerful and complicated we make the photo site, the more complicated we perhaps make it for someone who just wants to have this central depository of their images. And by having this separation of photo site and the photos, then we can take both of those in a kind of trajectory that maybe doesn't impact the other one quite so much.
Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, your photos are a representation of your story, and your story is that this thing that's super important. And we want people to be able to get in here and see that. The photo tells 1,000 words. I haven't seen this group of folks in now what seems like a year because we haven't gotten a chance to get together. But coming in here just reminds me, oh gosh, I miss these folks, so much. Indeed. So lets me get in here.
Stories and memories, and it's interesting. You obviously throughout my interactions and all with all the customers and all the people I know in SmugMug, people use our product in so many different ways. People use every feature we have. They use it for their website. They use it for their storage. They use it as an e-commerce platform. But we have people that just use parts of that. We have people who just use it for storage. People who just use it for sharing with specific clients or with family and friends. And then we have people who just use it as an e-commerce solution. So trying to separate these parts out is going to make it easier for the people who just use parts of it, and much more exciting for people who use all of what we do.
Absolutely. And you touched on something I want to call out here is I had the opportunity to go on a trip right before all this stuff happened, and at the airport I sat down next to somebody who had Lightroom open, and I was like, "Hey, you a photographer?" And of course, so naturally I would sit down next to somebody that is. Yeah. We had a great conversation about their workflow, and it represented a lot of what we've heard from other customers in interviews. But it's all about workflow, right? Like he had 10 different tools open and going in between each one for different stuff. And we want this to be a place where you can really come and it works with whatever workflow you have. In order to do that, we have to make each part of the product work well for what it represents and what it does, so that when you come in to sell your photos, you can push them straight into your store and get them up and running on your personal marketplace, stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially for those of us, I see, who are dealing with, our variety of customers. Those of you watching might think again, I don't really need this change. Why have you done it? But for your specific use case, it might not be as obvious of what this change is how it's going to improve your interaction with your account.
Absolutely.
So when we first launched Photos, this new Nav Bar, how many weeks has this been out now? It's like a month, maybe?
About a month, yeah.
We've already added a couple of updates to it, right? I think at least. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's show that the latest, greatest thing just launched a couple of days ago, I believe, actually. Time is sort of hard to keep track of these days, as everybody knows.
It's still March 2020.
It's still March 2020, totally.
It feels like it.
I mean, this is my birthday month, so let's let it be March again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we first launched, we wanted to get this in front of our customers and learn as quickly as possible. So we launched it with the ability to search and find your photos, and it was missing one key ingredient that we all knew everybody was going to want. We wanted it. I needed it in order for it to even be as great for me. We knew that, but we like to launch and learn and sort of how we do things. So our hypothesis was right. Everybody asked for this, the ability to search for galleries, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was the one thing we heard loud and clear very quick.
Very quickly.
We knew we were launching it with this feature missing, but we had to get it. We had to get it launched to get this part right. So thank you for your patience if you've been waiting for this. But we now have search back in galleries. So if you want to
demo check this out. Yeah. Let's. I uploaded all my wedding photos live here, because why would I put them anywhere else? So let's take a look for wedding. Now you can see that other than all of the photos that I've tagged with various wedding terminology, we also have at the very top here all of the 3 wedding galleries I have set up. So the reception, portraits, ceremony, and getting started. So let's go to portraits for fun. So as you can see, we're now in that, just looking at only photos from that particular gallery. So now it's much easier to come in here and take a glance, and a lovely wife there. We've got some of these photos on the wall behind me, actually.
I don't recognize the gentleman she's with.
Yeah. Times have changed. We're coming up on 7 years in this month, so it's exciting.
I mean, you say we, do you mean you and the beard? Is that?
Yeah, that's just, exactly.
Sorry, man.
That's fine. I always wanted to see what I would look like with one, and then Shannon, my wife Shannon, she won't let me get rid of it. She likes it, so it's here to stay. So there's another thing I wanted to call out, right? Is that we have made a change to the way that the Lightbox works in this particular view, because we really wanted to make this experience all about viewing your photos, maybe the information about the photos, but this experience is all about bringing up that photo, getting it as big on the screen as possible, and then getting the black nice and black so that you can just really see that photo pop on the screen. It might be a little bit different than the Lightroom or the Lightbox in the organizer, and it's on purpose. The Lightbox and organizer lets you buy the photos and do some other editing and things, so it's a little bit more robust for that reason, and it's also customer facing. Once you have those photos online, right, there's the shopping experience is also embedded in that. We'll obviously continue to make updates to this particular version as well, and look for opportunities to make them more similar, so it's not as maybe jarring if you do happen to need to go back and forth between them. But this is our first step at taking a step forward towards that vision of the photos being front and center. So we can get our information about them. There's probably not going to be, oh, that's right, this was my photographer, Calvina. Thank you, Calvina, if you're watching. She was amazing. She's a great photographer here in the area. And you can download them. And then right now, because you can't do as much as we have plans for here, you can also then view this photo in the organizer, which will launch the organizer and find that photo for you if you wanted to buy it or do some other stuff.
Yeah. The organizer is the real powerhouse, in my opinion, of what we do. It's the home of every asset you have at SmugMug, whether it's your images, galleries, folders, pages on your photo site. It really is the real powerhouse. But if you're just wanting to focus on just the photographs and not worry about the structure of your photo site, the photo section is going to be ultimately the place to do all that kind of moving and downloading and
absolutely,
that's checking out and all that kind of stuff. That's the future of this, right?
You're exactly right. Yeah, that's the power tool, and this is you put it up on the gallery walls and you just want to come in and just look at them. Yeah, right? That's what it's exactly what it's all about. Yeah, so that's the latest update to that. We just launched that. So as you can see, it's not okay, we're going to put this out there and we're not going to touch it for a while. We've got lots of ideas and plans, and those are all really dependent on hearing from our customers and making sure that we're getting questions in Q&A events like this, or surveys and all kinds of other things that we use, interviews. I just chatted with a photographer, what was it, Tuesday? What's today, Friday? Yeah, Tuesday. I just chatted with a photographer a couple days ago. And we were just talking about, like, hey, can you just show me how you use it, and she just showed me how she goes through and what her daily behaviors look like, and this is what I do, here's how I use it to share these photos with my client. She's a client, she's a client base in the middle of the country here in the US, and again, she hadn't even noticed that the top nav had changed. Just naturally became her new part of her flow. Popped over to organize, created a new gallery, uploaded some photos, shared them with the client, just as fast as that. So
yeah. I mean, a lot of our customers don't visit this, the account settings, the back end of their SmugMug site on a regular basis. Many of us live in there daily. A huge section of our audience don't live in there. I'm thinking, I know a lot of our customers who live and breathe in Lightroom and use our Lightroom plugin to do everything for their SmugMug site, whether it's creating galleries, adding passwords, uploading. None of that has been affected by any of the changes we've made out here. The images all still go to the same place. They're all, just a single, upload to our storage. This photo section is just a way of curating and looking at and viewing all those images that you have without being bombarded by all the other power features of having pages and galleries and all that type of stuff. So, but I'm sure there's a huge section of our audience out there haven't even seen the fact that we've changed this yet, or I've hopefully found it intuitive enough that they haven't even thought twice about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we're going for.
Yeah. For those of you that haven't been on your site recently, I would encourage you to go in and have a look at this and look at some of the features, get familiar with it. But we are in a strange time where those of us commercially in the industry maybe haven't had the work that we'd hoped to for this part of for this big chunk of this year. So what some of us are finding is we do have the benefit of having some time now to maybe do things, the freedom of time to do things that maybe we were too busy to do when we were out there doing the day job of your shoots or weddings or whatever they need to be. Now's a great time to go in there and revisit, maybe refresh your site. Selling season is just around the corridor with holiday season coming up and the seasons changing. So now's a time to get in there, refresh your site, look at things like refreshing your the SKUs that you offer to sell, refresh the price lists, look at some of the new things we have with some of our labs. We've added a lot more greetings cards recently to our SKU offerings for the holiday season. So while we're talking about some of the new features in the Nav Bar, I would encourage you to get in there and use the photo site tools, use the customizer, give it a refresh, give it a revamp, and then go into some of the selling tools and have a look at your price lists and your SKU offerings. It's a great time of year to be doing that. There's actually no questions in the chat. I think we've answered everything as we've been talking. If you do have a question, throw it in there quickly before we finish up. I want to have everybody keep an eye on their emails from SmugMug, because there's going to be some fun selling stuff coming out here pretty soon.
Absolutely.
That I have some just talked about getting ready to ship. So I think it'll be. There's some, you mentioned selling seasons coming up, and that's a super important time for us, and because it's a super important time for our photographers, and we understand that you're looking for some new stuff there, and I think you'll be excited about what's coming down the pipes.
Yeah, I mean, it's historically the busiest time of year for ourselves, our partner labs, but ultimately you, the viewers, our customers, and the users of SmugMug. Hopefully we can find ways to utilize that effectively for marketing. I had a conversation earlier today with an interview I did for White House Custom Color, one of our labs, and we were talking about some of the things that I would encourage our customers to do to get ready for selling season. Get in there, refresh your site, look at your SKU offerings, take the opportunity to look at your price lists and the products that you offer, but also remember that the customers, if you have customers, if you're selling to customers, the customers you've sold to previously and historically are probably the people that you should be marketing to most. They've already proved that they love your work and they buy from you, and they understand how to go through that process of buying online. The great thing about our account settings, if you go into your sales history on SmugMug, you have all the data and all the information of who's already bought from you. So you can market to these people. Think of doing a holiday newsletter. Use our coupon code feature, build a coupon code, market to those people that you've already done that work for, and see if you can entice them by giving them maybe a small discount of that at the moment. So that would be some of the things I would recommend. Catherine actually has posted a question here. I'm going to bring it up on screen. It's not quite related to the Nav Bar, but you're more than welcome to ask questions. And Catherine asks, are you going to put the Facebook pixel back as an option? And that's a very interesting question, Catherine. Thank you for asking that. We might not give you the answer that you're hoping for right now, but it's something that many of us spent a lot of time focusing on trying to get right to add that in the first place. But there's a reason why we don't have it. Are you familiar with that, Cosmo? Why we?
I am not actually. It was I've been heads down on getting all this design stuff done.
Yeah.
And, I heard that we did it, but you probably know more than I do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Catherine, I don't know. I just know the high level stuff. But ultimately, the Facebook pixel is a tracking pixel, and with lots of legislation, like here in Europe of GDPR, it took us a long time to get it right, to make it work for our customers. And then unfortunately, not long after we launched Facebook Pixel, there was quite a new law came in California. I can't remember the exact name of it. I don't know if you do, Cosmo, but there's a privacy law that came in, for want of a better word, into California, which is where we're based, obviously, which meant that we had to remove that. And we hope it is temporary. We hope that we can find a way to make that work. I know there's other companies out there will provide it for you, but ultimately we don't feel that it's complying with the way that we need to comply with these new legislations. So that is the current reason it's not there, Catherine. We are working to see if we can find a solution that works for yourselves, your customers, and ultimately keeps us on the right side of legislation and the law. So that's the current state. But we haven't just switched it off with the view to never bringing it back on. We are trying to find a way to do that for you, Catherine. So
I think it's a good point too, Alastair. We at SmugMug we care immensely about the security and privacy of your photos, and as an extension of our caring deeply about your privacy, if we have to care about, we care about your privacy, we care about everybody's. Yeah. So we pay a lot of attention to those laws to make sure that we're not just only following the letter, but the spirit of them.
Yeah, and it's not just about security of your photos. It's ultimately security of your data and your customers' data, which is becoming a huge focus. We are, the sort of values of our business is to make sure that we add value to our product so that you pay for it. Obviously, you'll all be familiar that SmugMug is not a free product, and that way you don't become the commodity. It's not about our customers' data. And although I understand that you would love to have that Facebook pixel there so that you can use it to really target your sales opportunities through Facebook and track how those are performing right now, unfortunately, there's not a great way to do that doesn't put us slightly, on the wrong side of the law at the moment. So stay tuned. Hopefully we can have a way to solve that, and I'm pretty sure we'll shout loud and clear once we get that for you, Catherine. So
absolutely.
Thank you for the questions. If you've got any other questions, post them in there. And I'm hoping to bring back tips and tricks episodes a bit more frequently. Cosmo doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to have him on as often as I can, steal him away from his precious time with all the jobs that you do.
This is the only time I get to use the fancy. My wife is a voiceover artist, which is why we have all the fancy mic equipment. She always steals this desk, though.
We can slightly hear her wonderful voiceover happening in the other room. So that's cool.
Booth.
Yeah, she's in the booth. You have a booth in your house. That's cool.
We have a full isolation booth.
Yeah. Well, if I've given you an opportunity to use your cool gadgets, then great. Listen, Catherine says thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it's not perhaps the answer. The best answer I would love to give you is we're turning it back on. But there's no point in anything else than telling you exactly the position we're in. And hopefully, as you say, obviously, I really appreciate you saying thank you and understanding where we are. I was part of the team that fought really hard to make Facebook Pixel available in the first place. I think we do a thing here at SmugMug. A lot of tech companies do it called hackathons. We've posted some videos about our hackathons where, as a company, we get together and we make our product do things it's not currently doing, showcase it to the company, get buy-in from the leadership of the certain departments that are going to be involved, and then get the go-ahead to build it. And I was, part of the team that did a hackathon to add Facebook Pixel, and it's been a couple of years ago now. So nobody feels it worse than me that it's been removed. But that's not true. I'm sure you, as a working photographer, feel it worse than me. But I wish and I hope that we can get that back very quickly. Maybe we'll have you back, Cosmo, to talk about the things that we keep, the nav bars as we've alluded to is not done. Yeah. There's going to be things coming, and we'll get you back on. And as even if it's something small and subtle, I think it'll be cool to keep doing these episodes and letting our audience know what's been added in case they missed it, and alluding to what might be coming down the line.
Yeah,
if you're game, game.
Absolutely. I love getting a chance to chat about our product and what we're up to, but also to spend this time with our community, the photographers, and our customers. This is a joy for me. This is my bread and butter, is hanging out with folks and figuring out what can we do to make this better.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. We're very, very fortunate, both you and I, to get to spend some real quality time with our audience.
Absolutely.
Before I say my final thanks to Cosmo, I'll make sure there's no more questions, but I would ask you a favour, if you're watching this, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. That way you support the channel here on YouTube and make sure that it's visible to others. That bell notification will make sure you hear about all the great episodes we've got coming here. It's not just about tips and tricks and SmugMug. I'm using this channel to really connect our audience with, our community, to connect some of the, the opportunities we have with our wonderful ambassador program, to let our ambassadors give you some insight into the work that they do and some of the education that they lead, but ultimately just to inspire, motivate, and keep our community together during these times. So stay tuned for all the things coming up. As I say, next week we've got a really incredible opportunity to hear from John Rourke about his world of motorsport photography, something that's been requested quite a lot. Cosmo, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. Your day is really just started, so get to work. Over here in Scotland, I am almost done, so I will be starting my weekend very soon. Everybody, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, be good, be kind to each other, and we will see you back here for another episode of SmugMug Live. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Cosmo.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thanks,
Take
Alastair.
care.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Cheers.